Baseball can be a tricky thing here in Minnesota in the month of April. It snowed out yesterday, and everybody here scrambling to clear the snow and ice in time for a double dose of baseball today between the Twins and the Blue Jays. But hey, some devoted baseball fans here to enjoy a ball game nonetheless on that chilly day at Target Field. Here are your starting pitchers for Game 1 of this day-night doubleheader. Kyle Gibson off to a surprising start in some areas. 2-0 to start the season. And R.A. Dickey, the game's only real knuckleballer right now, going up against the Twins, taking a 1-2 record. Welcome to Target Field. Jamie Hirsch and Jack Morris here as we inch closer to first pitch between Game 1 of the doubleheader between the Twins and Blue Jays. But let's talk a little bit about R.A. Dickey. He's kind of a mixed bag. The Twins faced him twice last year, and he was 1 win and 1 loss. So what do you expect from him today?
That's kind of the roller coaster ride that R.A. Dickey went through last year. He can be absolutely lights out when he gets the knuckleball over, and he throws one of the hardest knuckleballs of any knuckleball pitcher. Throws it in the low 80s at times. He can be very, very tough when he's getting that knuckleball over. When he doesn't get it over, and that's where he's had a little bit of non-success, is he doesn't have a lot of extra pitches to get you out with. So he lives and dies with the knuckleball, and the Twins are going to be aware of that as they take the field today.
Well, there's no question weather will play a factor in today's game. 31 degrees right now, but it only feels like 22 and a little bit of a wind gust as well. Specifically, how do you think these conditions will affect that knuckleball style of him?
Well, R.A., again, he doesn't throw anything hard. His knuckleball's in the low 80s. Most of the time it's in the high 70s. And so he's not a guy that overpowers you. I think Kyle Gibson would be more feared as a hitter today because, you know, his sinker's coming down and in on a right-hander. R.A. doesn't really is affected by the weather. He doesn't like wind at his back. And I don't know any pitchers that do because the ball reacts differently when it's in your face. Today, not much wind at all.
All right, well, both teams have to deal with these tough conditions, and it'll be a fun day of baseball here. Still to come, though, Dick and Bert will have more on the 1-2 punch of Brian Dozier's scoring runs for the Twins and Chris Polabello driving them in.
Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. Run scoring has been a strength for the Twins so far this year. Chris Colabello with 15 runs batted in already this year. The leadoff guy has scored a lot of runs. That's one of the reasons why the Twins are within a game of the 500 mark, and they hope to get there and get above the 500 mark by day's end. It's a split doubleheader, and we welcome you to Target Field. Dick and Bert with you. Only two teams in the American League have scored more runs than the Twins at this point of the season, and the two big reasons why are kind of surprising names.
Yeah, Chris Colabello really getting an opportunity to play. You know, he had that great series in Chicago, and Gardy stayed with the hot hand, and Chris has really produced 15 runs batted in. That's tied for the American League lead, and a lot of those guys that he has scored and knocked in have been Brian Dozier. Even though the average is down a little bit for Dozier, he's scoring runs. For Colabello, we have seen a lot of power, especially the other way. Waits back very well on the ball and delivers the ball up the middle the other way. Has one home run, but he has been a clutch hitter for the Twins. And a lot of times for Brian Dozier, just get on and score.
And the key for the Twins against Toronto, as it's always been, try to keep a couple of big sluggers in the ballpark. We've got a split doubleheader, both games on TV. Full day of baseball coming up in just a moment. Gibson will try to go 3-0 in this young season as he takes the mound for the middle game of what has turned into a split doubleheader, but what's turned into the middle game of this 3-game series. We're happy to be bringing you today's game. We weren't originally scheduled to put this game on TV, but with the snow out last night and the televised game tonight, the makeup game for last night, we decided, well, let's just go ahead and do both games. And the Menards batting order for John Gibbons continued his success over the Twins here at Target Field. Melky Cabrera leading off. Munenori Kawasaki, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Colby Rasmus, Brett Lowry, Moises Sierra, Josh Tolle, and Ryan Goins.
And on the mound it will be Kyle Gibson, making his third start. The 26-year-old in his second season with the Twins. Really doing a good job of pushing off that rubber. And yes, he's got some early run support, which is nice. But what he's been able to do, put some zeros up on the board, especially over the first 3 or 4 innings. His last start gave up a run against the Kansas City Royals, and then the Twins came back, scored 2 in the bottom of the first, and he took over from there.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Jason Kubel in left. Aaron Hicks in center. Chris Colavello in right. Across the infield, Plouffe, Florimon, Dozier, and Mauer, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Chris Cuccione has the plate. And Hobart, Oberg, and Tom Hallion and Eric Cooper on the bases. When Gibson pitched against the Royals here last Friday, the game time temperature was 42 degrees. It's below freezing. First pitch up and away, ball 1. Below freezing as we begin play here today. This more reminiscent of his first start of the year in Cleveland. Drive to center. And Hicks comes in, puts it away, 1 down. Coldest start ever for a game in Minnesota. All those years, and I know you played some in the 30s, but it's like a fishtail. You know, you've told stories about starting games when it was 17 degrees. That's a lie. That actually never happened. This is the
they caught me. They caught me.
It is a day for long underwear and wool socks, and that's just for the announcers. Strike 1 to Munenori Kawasaki.
And that's important for Gibson right there. Get ahead. Cabrera, he's currently on a 14-game hitting streak. A couple pitches into his at-bat, a fly ball out.
Down low, 1-1.
And if you've not seen Kyle Gibson pitch before, pretty good sinking fastball. He'll throw a slider, slow curve, and a changeup.
I guess it's the changeup that has been a pleasant surprise to me. We saw Gibson pitch a lot last year, but I don't remember last year his changeup being as crippling to a hitter as it's been this year. He's thrown some dynamite changeup.
You know why? Because he's really pushing off that pitching rubber now. Last year he's just kind of feeling his way, but you can almost see when he gets to that balance point, he drives toward home plate and he tries to get on top of that baseball. What I mean at 6'6", create that downward plane so it comes at the hitter at an angle.
On the outside corner, 3-2. Don't want to walk people in front of Bautista.
He does a good job right here. Balance, and then watch this right here. That's the push-off right there. And then the follow-through.
Called third strike. He got the outside corner for strike 2. Came back and clipped the inside corner for a called third strike.
Well, let's take a look at our Mall of America scouting report on Jose Bautista. We've shown the numbers. He loves hitting here at Target Field. I think you have to pitch him hard inside. And you know what? He's not afraid of that pitch up and in. You got to make him move his feet a little bit, change speeds, and don't hopefully let him beat you late in the ball game. I think Jack Morrison did it right in the pregame when he talked about Bautista, Encarnacion, 2 guys that have hit well here. When they're ready to swing the bat, they let it go. No check swings. When they see something to their liking, they let that baby go. Pretty good pitch right there. That's where you want to pitch him. Start him away. Hopefully you get ahead, and then he will chase the breaking ball, but he is all-out pull-type hitter.
3-0 with Encarnacion on deck. Twins putting an infield shift on for Bautista. Dozier lined up behind second base.
12 games here at Target Field. Bautista hitting .385, 20 hits and 52 at-bats with 10 home runs. So he will have the green light. And I'm sure he did, but not to his liking.
Gibson delivered that pitch up a little bit in the strike zone. Bautista probably would have been wailing on it. Down low, it's a 5-pitch walk, and Bautista's aboard. And it doesn't get any easier with Encarnacion hitting behind him.
All right, let's do a little pitch by pitch to Bautista. Now look, you can see Suzuki sitting away. Not a bad pitch right there. This I thought was a strike. That's a good pitch right there. But ball 3 is low. Now he comes in with a fastball. Bautista takes just to kind of look at it. He's never seen Gibson before. And then the sinker down in the strike zone.
So critical for Encarnacion to continue to provide the pop, hitting behind Bautista. You can see that here at Target Field, it's been a pretty good 3-4 combo for Toronto.
Yeah, they come in here. They've had success. They feel comfortable. You know, they've hit Twins pitching very well, but that's got to stop somewhere. Hopefully it'll stop here with Gibson on the mound. Again, as a young pitcher, you always kind of have the advantage. They have not seen you before other than on video. It's important for Gibson to get ahead, get strike one, and then hopefully put him away like he did Cabrera.
Chop foul, 2 strikes.
There's one of those swings right there. They do not get cheated up there. It's all out. Swing and miss and swing hard. Take a look at this swing right here. That ball, that's a good pitch right there. Came running in on him. And all Encarnacion could do was hit that ball foul.
You know, that again, even from the center field camera, you can see the movement on Gibson's pitches. So then imagine what it's like if you're in the batter's box and that ball just kind of bores down and into a right-handed batter. 2 strikes. Breaking ball, flip foul.
That's why you work both sides of the plate. You show them that you will go in with that sinker. That sometimes opens up down and away with that 4-seam fastball. If you can hit that spot, hopefully that umpire, you know, will give you that corner away. He did not on Bautista on the second pitch.
Another 2-strike pitch.
Ahead in the count right here.
And another sinker chopped foul. Gibson trying to pitch around the 2-out walk to Bautista. Sun trying to break through, and Gibson took a step toward the dugout.
That's a good pitch right there. He didn't get the call on Bautista, and this is a pitcher's pitch. Wow.
Out of the strike zone according to Fox.
Hit the corner. It's 31 degrees. Let's go.
1-2. Chopper to short. Florimo flips to Dozier. That ends it. A scoreless first. Batting order for game 1. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Trevor Plouffe, Chris Colabello, Jason Kubel, Josmil Pinto, Kurt Suzuki, Aaron Hicks, and Pedro Florimo.
Well, no secret what the Twins batters will see today, and that's a lot of knuckleballs from R.A. Dickey. Dickey making his 4th start of the year. 1 win, 2 losses so far. And against the Minnesota Twins in his career, a former Twin when he played here, he is 2-2 with an ERA at 6.11. So the Twins offense has had some success against Dickey.
Floater over for strike 1. Dozier leading the team with 4 home runs. And he takes low ball 1. Asked Ron Gardenhire today about the high number of walks for this Twins team, and generally the better at bats. And he says, well, that's what you hope to have with a little more experience. Dozier cuts through the wobbler, and it's 1-2. I mean, Dozier last year had kind of a breakout year, but he gained a lot of experience. That's what happens when you get over 500 at bats. So he says naturally the at bats should be better this year. Foul back. No big secret, no change in approach, just more experience.
Yeah, more confidence. More confidence that, Dozier last year kind of felt his way around second base, did a great job defensively, but now offensively, he's going to hit.
Chopper on the line. Second in the league in runs scored to Chicago's Adam Eaton, who is hitting 110 points higher than Dozier is. But Dozier's drawn some walks and had some guys driving him in behind him. 1-2. Just off the outside corner. That at 66 miles per hour, the slower knuckleball.
Yeah, well, what R.A. Dickey has said, and he wants to get back to where he was. There's a harder knuckleball. He wants to get back when he won the Cy Young with the Mets back in 2012. Throw that knuckleball a little bit harder. And he's one of these guys that will throw that knuckleball hard, and he misses right there. That is the 11th walk for R.A. Dickey in 18 2/3 innings. And a good eye by Brian Dozier.
Well, the 2-strike fouls allowing Dozier to draw the walk. The Northland Ford defense for Toronto. Cabrera, Bautista out there in center field again, and Moises Sierra in right. Lowry, Goins, Kawasaki, Encarnacion, and Tolley. Brian Dozier, the 12th walk taken here is Mauer. Dozier 6th in the league, now tied for 5th in the league in walks drawn. I asked Joe before the game today, Joe Mauer, what's the difference between Dickey now and the Dickey that he caught when he pitched out of the bullpen for the Twins? He says, well, he throws the knuckleball harder, and he's got it figured out. It took a little time, of course. Mauer takes a ball 1-1.
And of course, you're Brian Dozier. You know that knuckleball's not coming in at 90 miles an hour. You want to be selective of if you take off. Knuckleballers are sometimes a little bit easier to steal against, but Dickey will go through different. He'll hold it a little bit longer, and then a quick throw over.
Ooh, very close.
Just got back.
That's harder than any pitch he's thrown to the plate.
Very quick feet. And Dozier diving back.
Just got back. Looked like Encarnacion. And Dozier got back. Very close. And Mauer lifts it foul. 1-2.
I say sometimes trying to hit a knuckleball is like trying to catch a butterfly with a net. Almost impossible at times. Joe against R.A. Dickey, 2 hits and 8 at-bats over their meetings.
1-2. Two and 2.
R.A. Dickey, at 39 years old, was with the Twins in 2009. He pitched in 35 ball games, made 1 start for the Twins. Then went over to the Mets in 2010 through 2012.
He's trying to take advantage of the leadoff walk. Mauer gets a piece, fouling it back.
Let's take a look back at R.A. Dickey back in 2009 at the Metrodome. Originally signed by the Rangers, their #1 pick out of the University of Tennessee back in 1996. Pitched for the Rangers, the Mariners, the Twins, the Mets, now the Blue Jays in his 2nd season.
Slaps it foul. In case you're wondering, well, why wasn't he in the rotation? It was a decision that the Twins made. He wasn't as effective a pitcher as he, of course, later became. The Twins had a rotation that year of Scott Baker, Nick Blackburn, Kevin Slowey, Francisco Liriano, who had one of his worst years. Carl Pavano came over that year. 2-2. That ball rolls away, and Dozier will try to advance. Encarnacion falls down. And he probably won't be the last player to lose his footing on this field in this split doubleheader.
That's a good decision right there by Dozier. He saw that ball kind of get away from Encarnacion and then alertly got up. See Scotty Alger right there getting out of the way, but as Encarnacion tries to get that ball, you can see the wet turf here. R.A. Dickey will get an error on that on the wild throw to first, they say.
2-2 to Mauer. In for ball 3. Mauer named this morning an All-Star Game ambassador. You were a part of the ceremony with that, for that, along with Tony Oliva and Paul Molitor.
As Joe said, as Molitor, Tony Oliva, myself, it's a great honor. And also Rod Carew, who could not make it. He'll be in next week. Also an ambassador for the Twins for the All-Star Game in July.
Pretty safe bet that Joe will represent the Twins in the All-Star Game. Battling R.A. Dickey here. Joe's been striking out a lot, and he's had, I think, what, 3 two-strike fouls in this at-bat. Trying now to at least advance Dozier to third base.
Yeah, pitch number 9.
And he takes a walk. And Dickey issues a walk to the first 2 batters. And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe.
Well, Trevor Plouffe here a couple days ago hitting his first home run. That came late against Santos. Sergio Santos of the Blue Jays. But the Twins still ended up losing that ball game 9-3.
See if Plouffe can cash in here.
Trevor 1 for 6 lifetime against R.A. Dickey.
One team, Oakland, has drawn more walks than the Twins have. 1 strike to Plouffe. And this game starts with a pair of walks. 1-1. Twins have given Kyle Gibson some first inning run support in his first 2 starts, and a great chance to do it again here today. On the outside corner, that might have been the fastball. Only 82, but that's about as high as Dickey's going to get it. 1-2 to Plouffe. 2-2.
Well, one thing we have seen, Trevor, because of that high average, where his hits have gone: 4 to left, 6 to center, and 6 to right.
And now 3-2. Dickey's greatest fear might be realized here on a frigid day, below freezing, and a pitch that so much requires touch and feel, and it's tough for any pitcher, but I would think particularly a knuckleballer. Full count. Back to Dickey, and he will start a double play. So 1 pitch changes the complexion of the inning, and it'll be left to Colabello.
And that looked a fastball again, but a good location, and Plouffe hit it right back to R.A. Dickey, a Gold Glove winner last year in the American League. Take a look at the fastball, and of course you don't throw 80 miles an hour. You got a little extra time to set up, and he set up very nicely. Got the right ball right back to him. Good feed over to second base. Quick turn of a double play.
So it'll be left to Colabello here. Colabello tied for the league lead in runs batted in. Takes a floater over for a strike. That pitch might be an awfully big pitch in this game. He threw a fastball to Plouffe, who's a good fastball hitter, but I don't know that Dickey has a good fastball. He just topped it back to the mound. Down and away, 1-1. might have been the fastball down and in. 2-1.
One thing R.A. Dickey has done, especially over the last 3 years, is pitch a lot of innings. 224 innings last year, 233 the year before, and just over 200 3 years ago.
Ooh, Colabello spins on a knuckleball and fouls it to the screen.
Well, last year, Chris, Colabello had some good at-bats against R.A. Dickey as he waited nicely, hit a base hit into center, and then got one to his liking, middle in, and hit it into the bullpen area for a home run.
Which is exactly what he tried to do on that last pitch. It looked like Dickey left a knuckleball up, and Colabello just missed it. 2-2. Foul back. Talked about the Twins and how no team other than Oakland has taken more walks than the Twins, but Colabello hasn't taken many walks, just 2 in fact. And as he continues to be placed 4th in this lineup, it might be something he'll have to do. He's there to swing the bat, of course, but teams are trying to find a way to not be hurt by this big, strong right-handed batter, and unless they throw it over the plate, Chris might have to find himself taking a few more pitches. Two and two. And now 3-2 with Kubel on deck.
Opponents over Dickey's career have hit 261. He's given up 161 home runs. Right-handed hitters a fair better against Dickey than lefties. Right-handers hitting 268, left-handers 253.
Full count to Colabello. And he takes, oh my. Pitch looked very high and very much off the plate outside. And Chris Guccione called it a strike to end the inning.
Take a look right here. You know, sometimes when you throw that knuckleball, you expect it to go down. Maybe the umpire, Chris Guccione, did, but that ball not a strike.
Close to being one. 3 walks in a first inning, no hits, and it'll be Colby Rasmus who will lead things off in the second against Kyle Gibson. Ball 1. Rasmus held out of the lineup the other day with a tight hamstring. Back in there today, pretty much out of necessity. The ball spanked to right, a base hit. And Rasmus is aboard with the first hit of the game. Both teams will have a 26th player added for the nightcap. Andrew Goes will be added to the Toronto roster and Eduardo Nunez to the Twins roster. But for this first game, Blue Jays have 13 pitchers, 12 position players, 3 bench players, and Adam Lind is out with a tight back.
Yeah, he's hurt. Tweaked his back again, but that's been a history of Adam Lind.
Popped up back into the section just beneath us. Brett Lowry with a knockout punch here on Tuesday night, a grand slam against Jared Burton. 1 strike. Chopped foul. So the Blue Jays start this game in reality without Adam Lind, the backup infielder and a backup catcher, and Rasmus asked to be the designated hitter, and maybe asked not to, on a frigid day, to open up in his running at all. We'll see what happens if there is a base hit, whether he even tries to go from first to third. 2 strikes. Chopper, backhanded, bobbled by Plouffe, and everybody's safe.
Tried to turn it without the ball. Trevor Plouffe will be charged with an error. That is his 2nd error of the year. Tried to get that little short hop, and I think it'll look here, right here. Tried to turn right there without making sure the ball was in his glove. And runners at first and second. Now Gibson's been able to get a couple double plays in his first 2 starts, so see if he can get another ground ball.
Moises Sierra, the batter.
This is where, as a pitcher, you want to pick up your defense. You know, they make so many great plays behind you. See if Gibson can do that.
Outside a ball with Sierra squaring the bunt.
Luis Rivera, the third base coach, going through signs. Sierra does not have a sacrifice yet this year.
Now down on the way, 2-0.
There's Rivera.
Two 2-0. Gibson to Sierra. Fly ball down the right field line. Colabello has a really long run, and that ball lands on the warning track foul. An extraordinary effort to get this field ready. When I got here 3 hours before game time, that part of the warning track had standing water on it. They simply didn't have time. There's one little area on the other side of the field that has some water on it yet, but grounds crew got here about 4:30 this morning to try to remove the snow from the field and the seating area and everything. Some areas of the metro area, my area, the metro area, got 13 inches of snow last night, but just a couple inches here at the ballpark. 2-1. On the outside corner, 2-2.
Yeah, again, Larry DeVito, Danny DeVito's brother, did a great job of putting his crew out here early, and these guys worked their tail end off.
There's Larry.
We don't know where Danny is.
A little bit taller than Danny. 2-2 to Sierra. And ball 3.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Guccione has missed 3 or 4 pitches already for Kyle Gibson. He has made some good pitches, but not getting the call.
You know, in off the plate according to Fox Tracks. If we'd shown Fox Tracks on the strike 3 to Colabello, I'm not sure it would have appeared in the box. Plouffe gets another chance. And it's a double play. Had it been a step or 2 toward the bag, and a chance for a triple play. On the play, Rasmus goes to third.
Well, I said, as a pitcher, you want to pick up your defense, and no better guy to hit the ball to again as Trevor Plouffe made the error. And that ball hit very sharply. Dozier, good turn of the double play. So both teams getting double plays here early in the ball game.
Josh Thole will hit, the backup catcher. Generally only catches when Dickey pitches. 3 hits, 8 at bats on the season. Fly to left. Kubel back a few steps. No damage done. Leadoff single and an error. 1 man left. No score after an inning and a half. If you don't get this one, don't worry about it. We'll have another one tonight.
Okay.
What significant event happened with the Twins 5 years ago today?
Oh, I know that. It involves that man right there. It's something to do with the cycle.
Was it the other ballpark, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Kubel.
I meant like a bicycle.
We are not using those in Minnesota these days. Not without snow tires. Kubel, Pinto, and Suzuki. One strike. And Guccione already hearing it from the Twins dugout. They didn't think that pitch was a strike, and they know the one to Colabello wasn't. Floater high, swing and a miss. Seems like in baseball there's always one knuckleballer, at least in the American League. And Dickey using Charlie Huff as a mentor. And with that thought in mind, Mr. Herbeck just walked into the booth. He hit a 480-foot home run against Charlie Huff into the upper deck at the Metrodome inside. And
so he must have hit the side that wasn't knuckling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Harmon's old approach: look for two seams and aim in between. And Kubel, nice pickup by the shortstop. And it's Kawasaki, I believe, the second baseman, making a nice backhanded play. And Kubel hit it right into the shift for the first out.
Yeah, what the Blue Jays do in the shift, it's a third baseman Lowry that goes into short right field. Kawasaki stays around second base because of his range up the middle. Makes a very nice play off the bat of Jason Kubel.
Josmio Pinto will hit. Anyway, the one prevailing thought I have about Herbeck and his home run against Charlie Huff, it was measured at 480 feet. Now, a few years before, Ben Ogilvy hit one 481 feet, measured into the different part of the upper deck at the Dome. Here's Josmio Pinto with a fly ball to left center field. Cabrera and Bautista converge, and Cabrera with the catch. And it was such an arbitrary measurement system anyway. I just didn't understand why we couldn't find an extra 2 feet for the hometown boy. They bulldoze the place now. And so, Herbeck could have said, well, I hit the longest home run in a place that doesn't exist anymore, but they measured it 1 foot shorter.
I don't know who measures those anyway. I say it went 485.
All right, we officially declare that Herbeck's home run against Charlie Huff was the longest home run. At least while he's in the booth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once he leaves, we'll go back to Ogilvy.
1-0 to Kurt Suzuki.
And Ovi, he may have hit that one off of me. I'm surprised Herbie didn't hit that one off of me.
Well, Charlie Huff with whatever it was, 65 miles per hour to hit at 480, 490. Was a strong young lad back then.
Yes.
Down in the dirt, and it's 2-1. Dickey giving up a couple of walks to the first two batters. Got a big double play grounder off the bat of Plouffe. Then it got a gift from the home plate umpire. And now Suzuki takes what I presume to be Dickey's fastball for strike 2. Now 3-2 with Hicks on deck. Surprised at the Mets, after having Dickey come through for them with a Cy Young year, why they didn't figure he would be a big part of their plans moving forward. They went through a rebuilding phase and are right now. Here's a ball driven to right field. Down for a hit. The first Twins hit comes off the bat of Kurt Suzuki, and it'll get Hicks to the plate with a man aboard.
And that off the fastball right there.
Twins single game tickets remain available and affordable for this season, starting at just $10. Special deals are available for every day of the week. You can check them out at twinsbaseball.com or 1-800-33-TWINS. Hicks will hit with a man aboard and 2 out. But at the time, the Mets certainly didn't know that Matt Harvey was going to have Tommy John surgery. They knew he was kind of a special pitcher, going to be breaking into the big league soon. But they decided to get some prospects from the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays kind of went all in. I mean, this is the same offseason where they brought in Jose Reyes and Mark Burley.
They just had some injuries that kind of set them back, the Blue Jays. But you know what? I mean, it wasn't only R.A. Dickey. Tolley came along in that trade.
Right.
The same catcher that caught him in New York when he won the Cy Young. 2012, R.A. Dickey, 20-6 in 33 starts, 2.73 ERA, winning the Cy Young Award.
One and one. Swing and a foul, 1-2. Tolley, catcher, minor league catcher, in exchange for John Buck, catcher Travis d'Arnaud, and a couple of other minor leaguers.
And what you see is a switch hitter hitting right-handed against R.A. Dickey.
Yep. 1-2. Chopper to short. Goins fires on the run, and that ends the inning. Suzuki left the board, scoreless after 2 innings.
Your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
No score heading to the third inning. And it will be Ryan Goins leading things off. To the top of the order, and Melky Cabrera. Strike over the inside corner. I don't know quite how you would determine this. I know we have Fox tracks, and there's everything is recorded pitch by pitch now in the game, down low. But they said of starting pitchers last year who had at least 10 starts that Kyle Gibson had the lowest percentage of strikes called by umpires, and he's run into that again maybe here a little bit with a little nubber, and Gibson will try to make the fielding play. He makes it, 1 down. And we have had a lot of man and woman hours spent today getting this field ready. Now incredibly, you can see the tarp coming off and the remnants of the snow. In that group of shovelers, some Twins front office staff And they tell me Twins president Dave St. Peter was behind a shovel.
Good. He should.
But it was literally a team effort, all hands on deck to try to get this field ready. Split double headers are tough for a grounds crew anyway, but then when you have snow removal and all that, it's just remarkable that this field is in as good a shape as it is.
Yeah, not only on the field itself, also up in the seating area. You know, the upper deck, there is nobody in the upper deck because they didn't really have enough time to clean that area. Now, the upper deck out in left field, upper deck around where we sit, nobody's sitting, but there are some people out in right field in that upper deck area.
And while it's not going to melt later this afternoon, although I guess the temperature is supposed to climb up to about 40 degrees, in between games, I can imagine the crew will get up there in the upper deck and try to get the snow out of here. Bounce to second. And a couple of quick outs for Gibson. But again, it's kind of a hard thing to accurately measure, but people who had the time and the technology to determine strikes thrown in this, strike zone that we give you on screen, and the umpires have similar technology that for some unknown reason Gibson, probably his inexperience has something to do with it, but also I would think the movement on his pitches. He's gotten, last year he had the fewest percentage of strikes thrown actually called.
Yeah, I mean, they keep numbers for everything, but Gibson, I think this year right there just pushing off the rubber so much better, and now getting some ground ball outs.
And a 1-2-3 third inning.
Fastball from R.A. Dickey. He threw Suzuki one. He's thrown it to different hitters, especially when he's behind an account. You see almost, the ball rotating like a normal pitch. But then the knuckleball coming out of his hand, you can see kind of the push out, and then the seams, almost not moving at all. And Flormone up, he too is hitting right-handed.
First pitch. It's a liner to right, one away.
And you might ask, why are they hitting right-handed when, they're switch hitters? And R.A. Dickey, a right-handed pitcher, because that knuckleball has a tendency to go in more to left-handed hitters, and not as, it's a little bit easier. Look at that. Almost no rotation on that pitch right there. Flormone hit it sharply, but right to right field.
It looked like, if you studied it, that there was one revolution on the ball from the time it left Dickey's fingertips to the time Flormone made contact. One strike to Dozier. Had a great plate appearance, earning a walk, and he takes a ball 1-1.
I had the opportunity to talk to, Tim Wakefield and now Phil Niekro at the Hall of Fame. And, you talk to guys that threw the knuckleball that had great careers throwing that knuckleball. And Joe Niekro, of course, a teammate of mine back in 1987. It's a wonder how they could just do it consistently.
Wow. And that hit a divot or something and kicked left. That was a good bunt attempt by Dozier. And it's 1-2. We saw a ball in Chicago bunted that way, and it stayed fair. Here, it looked like it hit a divot.
Well, you watch the rotation of the ball right there, and if you can keep it on the grass, but right there as it gets on that dirt, the rotation is going to take that ball foul. And R.A. Dickey comes over, and when it's in foul territory, he just kicks it. Make sure that it is a foul ball.
Probably Colby Rasmus's footprint as he was coming toward home plate on Toley's fly ball in the second inning that Dozier's bunt hit. 2-2. Only traffic we've had between third and home.
A lot of times as a pitcher, you go to different ballparks. I know we did it in Detroit in the playoffs in 1987. We would roll balls down that third base line or the first base line, and there's strike three. R.A. Dickey picking up his second strikeout.
Fastball on the outside corner. Fox UFC Saturday returns with the most exciting network card in UFC history, featuring heavyweight contenders Fabricio Verdum and Travis Brown, plus Liz Carmouche taking on Miesha Tate, and Cerrone battles Barboza. They're such significant figures, they only go by one name. It all starts this week at 4 p.m. Central with the live prelims on Fox Sports 1, then turn over to Fox at 7 for the main card. See, you're a Hall of Fame pitcher, but you never had the notoriety where you could just get by with one name. Never just Blylev or Burt. There's a tapper
or
up.
Catfish.
Yeah, there's another one. And Dickey has a 1, 2, 3 third.
R.A. Dickey.
Will be empty, and the way he's hit against the Twins, that's always a good thing.
I mean, not only here at Target Field, just overall, Batista has enjoyed hitting against the Twins pitching staff. 4-time All-Stars, made the All-Star team the last 4 years, couple times led the American League in home runs.
And Gibson hits the knee, strike one. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Rasmus.
He's a guy that stands in front of the batter's box, almost in top of home plate.
Up and away, 1-1.
And when I say in front, meaning that he's as close as he can get to Suzuki and home plate with that right back foot. A little bit of an open stance. Keeps the bat up high. If you go in, you want to go down and in.
Down and away. 2-1.
And that's where you want to pitch him when you're behind an account, because right here he's looking dead red. He's looking for something that he can hit over the wall. Suzuki sitting outside. Good pitch.
And he hits it into the shift with Dozier playing behind the second base bag, 1 away.
That's exactly where you want it right there, because if you leave that middle in, he's going to open up quickly and swing hard. But that ball was away a little bit, even though it was a hitter's count. Able to get strike one with the fastball, little sink on it, missed with the pitch away, and then Gibson missed just down and away. Now go back out there again. Nice pitch. Dozier right there, up the middle for the first out.
Here's Encarnacion, and a breaking ball for a strike. But, you know, we've seen the Twins do this more. Every team is doing it more. The defensive shifting. Twins didn't do much shifting last year, but they have twice now to Batista. They have the shift in place for Encarnacion. That seems to be an ongoing trend in baseball. You can see Dozier right where he was during the Batista
Well,
at
you
bat.
talked about, you know, what Gibson does as far as not getting balls called and all that stuff. They have the same thing on hitters. You know, what's the tendency of hitters and where do they hit the ball? Well, you can see the Twins saying, okay, Encarnacion is not going to hit a ground ball to second base. If he hits this Gibson pitch, he's going to pull it, and if he, like Batista, he's going to hit it up maybe up the middle, so we'll put Dozier there. Good pitch right there. And Gibson needs to keep hitting that spot, because for some reason Puccioni is not giving him that pitch.
3-1 to Encarnacion. Rasmus on deck.
Same thing, outer half of the plate.
Right to the shift again. Well, that will be the topic, I'm sure, of some post-game discussion with Ron Gardenhire. And when he's been asked about it before, he's said, you know, we've got a pitching staff now where we feel these guys can pitch into the shift rather than have the ball go all over the place. And you can place your fielders if the pitcher can place the baseball.
It's not a staff that's going to throw 95, 96 miles an hour where a hitter might be a little bit late. And, you know, Gibson's going to top out at 92, 93. You know, especially in a hitter's count, they're looking dead red to pull. And both hitters, good hitters against Twins, Batista and Encarnacion, hit it right back up the middle. Normally it'd be a base hit, but they put Dozier there, 2 quick outs.
I can guarantee you this. In the 31 years I've been following the Twins, I've never seen a sequence of 3 straight batters where the Twins infield has shifted. Now, the reverse shift for the left-handed batter Rasmus. That's never happened. And if he can hit it to Florimon, somebody's going to look really smart. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
Well, Gibson's been able to get ground ball outs, 8 ground ball outs so far, here with 2 outs in the 4th inning.
It might be the most visible response to the sabermetrics and the analytical process that teams have gone through. And of course, he hits it over the shift into right field.
We didn't put anybody there. Rasmus getting the second hit for the Blue Jays, their second hit of the ball game.
Lowry will hit. Twins season ticket owners enjoy 10% off concessions and merchandise at Target Field all season long. Season tickets still available for full season 40 and 20 game plans. Act soon, and your purchase includes All-Star Game purchase priority. Call 833-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com for more details. 2 down, a runner at first, and Lowry will hit. Chopper foul. Lowry off to a slow start, as his batting average would dictate, but you hit a grand slam and the RBI numbers look okay. Check swing, they'll appeal. Strike 2.
Good hard slider, down and away.
High fly, center field. Hicks hardly has to move. And that ends it. Good inning for the infield coach. Scoreless 4th.
knuckleballer.
He's different. You know, I played with him in AAA, and it's just a unique experience facing him.
It'll be Trevor Plouffe leading off the fourth for the Twins. Dickey was on the ropes, even though the Twins hadn't put a ball in play. He walked the first two batters. I think it was a 2-2 pitch to Trevor Plouffe, and it was a fastball. And Plouffe topped it back to the mound in a critical double play. Strike one on the knuckleball to start the fourth inning. Dickey then was able to strike out Colabello. He's given up one hit. Two strikes. Plouffe, Colabello, and Kubel, the 3, 4, and 5 batters for the Twins in the fourth. And strike three. Plouffe gets a piece of the knuckleball, but fouls it into Tolley's mitt.
And Dickey picking up his third strikeout. That hard knuckleball, that's what he's trying to do, is throw it a little bit harder. That last second just kind of drops into Tolley's glove. I think you're right on it, and then the ball just disappears at times.
Colabello called out on strikes on a pitch that appeared to be up and away. And he'll hit here with one gone in the fourth. And if Dickey was struggling with his command in the first inning, he's gotten a lot of first pitch knucklers over for strikes here ever since. Tap foul, 2 strikes.
R.A. Dickey making his 177th Major League start, his 276th game. 76 wins, 71 losses, has a couple Major League saves. Career ERA just over 4 at 4.04. 12 complete games, 6 shutouts.
1 and 2.
And against the Twins, again, the organization. Now, not a lot of these players, because Dickey's been pitching for a while. He has combined 2 and 2, but as a starter, 1 and 2 with an ERA over 7. So the Twins have had some success against R.A. Dickey.
I would think the key to hitting is not being afraid of embarrassing yourself, and try not to change your swing. Colabello now with a 2-2 count. Grounded toward the hole under the glove of Lowry. Kind of surprised that the ball got by him. He made 3 really good fielding plays here on Tuesday night, and a dive came up a little short. Pepsi fans of the game, we could pick anybody who's here today. Game time temperature 31 degrees, the coldest start to a Twins game ever back in 1967 in early May. They started a game when it was 32 at Met Stadium. That was the coldest prior game time temperature in Twins history at a home game. Here's Jason Kubel with the shift in place. Swing and a miss. That's what I mean. Kubel just took his normal swing. We'll follow this at bat through pitch tracks presented by Chrysler. And Kubel, in just about every at bat this year, has been staring at this. And another swing and a foul, 0-2.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you face a knuckleballer, of course, it's not going to be 90 miles an hour, so I'm sure hitters have to wait back a little bit, like Colabello did right there, even though, you know, he hit the ball sharply, had to wait back, let the ball get into the strike zone, and hopefully it'll hang there.
And Kubel pops it up left side, and that is Goins making the catch. 2 down. And now Josmil Pinto. Pinto with a fly ball to left his first time up. He takes ball 1. swing and a miss. That's again what I'm talking about. I mean, Pinto is a power hitter, and he just hopes to square one up today. Same thing with Kubel. If you try to change your swing, you can be patient and all that, but you still don't want to change your hitting mechanics, I wouldn't think.
No, you want to swing where you think the ball's going to be, but again, the knuckleball, it'll drop at the last second. That one stayed up.
2-1. Dickey encouraged to become a knuckleball pitcher by Oral Hershiser when Hershiser was the pitching coach with Texas. Fouled away, 2-2. And if I can paraphrase what Oral described to our viewing audience when we asked him about Dickey when he was a member with the Twins, basically he said, look, you don't have enough fastball to last for very long in the big leagues. We got to try something else. And then it was just a matter of going to the minor leagues and reprogramming yourself. I mean, it's, you know, Dickey picked up the knuckleball as most of them do later on in life, and then he had to learn how to control it and how to throw it over the plate and how to change speeds with it.
Yeah, there's other knuckleballers that R.A. Dickey has talked to. Of course, Phil Niekro, you know, Tim Wakefield. You all kind of sit in a room and you talk about your knuckleballs. And, you know, one thing that R.A. Dickey is doing now, and Frank Viola's youngest son, Frankie Jr., is in the Toronto Blue Jay minor league system, and he's trying to throw the knuckleball. And he even spent a month this summer or this winter with R.A. Dickey in their place in Nashville to go over the knuckleball. So he's trying to pass the baton to Frankie Jr.
Taken for ball 4. Colabello will go to second.
And that takes a lot of dedication. Think about it. I mean, you know, here you're told, okay, my fastball isn't good enough to get anybody out. How do I get to the big leagues, or what do I have to do? Well, you have to go down and learn a knuckleball. Well, they don't get the money down there that, you know, maybe he's got a family to feed. You're going to make $500-600 a month down in AAA or AA or wherever you're at. Where Frankie Jr., I know, is down in instructional ball right now, extended spring, trying to throw that knuckleball.
Here's Suzuki. Twins with another threat, a single and a walk here in the 4th inning. Suzuki got the first Twins hit with a single to right field. And then you have to find an organization willing to invest in your recreation.
Right, the time.
Yep. A check swing and a called strike 1-1. I always thought Tommy John, when he was an analyst on Twins television, had a great idea, and I'm surprised teams, organizations don't do it. Said that he would identify one pitcher at every level that you just didn't figure had enough to break through and have a long career in the big league, somebody with a good arm and a good makeup, and turn him into a knuckleballer.
Well, what helped R.A. Dickey is he was a #1 pick. The Rangers had some money invested in him. You know, so they wanted to see him succeed. Maybe not as a fastball pitcher, but as a knuckleballer. He came up in 2001 out of the bullpen, and then in 2003 emerged, made some starts for the Rangers.
Check swing 2-1. But what Tommy felt was if you had 3 or 4 of them in your system and one of them clicked, I mean, they could pitch forever. I mean, Charlie Huff, I think, pitched till he was 45. Hoyt Wilhelm.
Phil
Niekro.
Tim Wakefield pitched, I believe, till he was 40, 41.
2-1. And a swing through the knuckleball, 2-2.
R.A. Dickey at 39. You know, he's still signed
in his prime.
He's signed for next year and an option year for the 2016.
And you're right, though, about the commitment to do it in the minor leagues, because your family's got to be all in on this thing, because you're not going to be making any money, and it might not work for you, but it has for R.A. Dickey. Suzuki takes ball 3. Now the runners will be able to leave early, and in Colabello's case, that might be a big edge toward scoring a run.
Now, in his last at-bat, Suzuki got the base hit. There were 2 outs. He threw him a fastball away. Suzuki hit the ball to right field. I don't think R.A. Dickey's going to throw him a fastball right here. I think he's going to stay with the knuckleball. You can see the fingers up. It's a knuckleball fouled off.
Suzuki protecting the plate, fouls it away. Impressive 77 pitches for Dickey, and I think only one has come out of Toley's glove. Done a nice job catching the knuckler today.
Dickey has thrown a lot of pitches, 8 3-2 counts so far.
Suzuki trying to extend the inning and get Hicks to the plate with men on base. Took high, and they're loaded up for Hicks.
Walk number 5 for Dickey.
And Hicks will come up with the bases loaded and 2 out. Now, it makes more sense, I would think, for Hicks to do this than even Florimon, because Florimon, a switch hitter hitting right-handed. Well, the left side is Florimon's better side by a bunch. In Hicks' case, while Twins like his swing a little bit better from this side of the plate than the other side of the plate, but it was interesting that Florimon hit right-handed against Dickey. Called strike. Hicks bounced to short his first time up.
Aaron has driven in 3 so far this year. Couple doubles, 8 hits and 44 at bats.
Checked his swing, but strike 2 called. Bases full, 2 out. And if you're the hitter, right where you want to be. 0-2 with a knuckleball pitcher on the mound. Driven to right. Sierra back to make the catch. Hicks put the barrel on it, but it's the 3rd out. No score after 4. No score heading now to the 5th inning. Time now for you to tweet a photo using hashtag NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in a broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. We've had a lot of pictures with snow in it. And we have a lot more parts of Twins territory that got some fresh snow. Wizzy Sierra will lead off the 5th against Kyle Gibson. And a fastball, strike 1. Just a couple inches here in the Twin Cities. Still a remarkable effort by the grounds crew and Twins front office staff to get this field ready for play. There's a chopper headed up the middle. Florimon to his left. Low throw and a nice dig by Mauer. Florimon with a good play on a chopper headed up the middle.
Yeah, Sierra, one of those runners gets down that first baseline very quickly, so it was going to be a bang-bang play. Florimon goes up the middle. And a nice pick over there by Mauer. So nice play by Florimo, nice pick by Mauer for the first out. Another ground ball out, 9 ground ball outs Gibson's been able to get so far.
Just a couple of fly ball outs, one of them off the bat of Josh Tolley to left field at end of the second inning. If you just joined us, this game started in 31-degree temperature. It is the coldest start to a Twins game in Minnesota ever. So in the immortal words of Carl Spangler from Caddyshack, we got that going for us.
And it was supposed to warm up. I don't believe it's warming up. We're supposed to get no low 40s. That's what they predicted.
I heard maybe 40.
Well, that's a low 40.
2-1 to Tolley. That's
40.
right. That's right.
Stocking hat caps all around.
And now 3-1. Ron Gardenhire, speaking of Gibson, saying every once in a while that'll happen where he tries to, wind it up to 93, 94 miles per hour, and he kind of torques one and is way off the strike zone. Needs to throw a strike here on 3-1. And that one will skip through for a base hit. Third single for the Mets. Excuse me, for the Blue Jays against Gibson.
And right there you see Gibson looking, turning, seeing middle infielder who's covering if the ball is hit back to me. And he looked like he was pointing to Florimone. So if a ball is hit back to him, he knows already who's going to be covering second base.
Goins will hit. Hit a nubber up the line. Gibson made the play for the first out of the third inning. Outside, ball 1.
Goins in his second season with the Blue Jays. Last year played in only 34 ball games, hit .252, a couple home runs.
Blue Jays like his defense, middle infielder that can play second and short.
Might be playing short now with Isturis out for looks like the year, getting knee surgery.
They hope to get Jose Reyes back this weekend to play short. Down and away, 2-0.
There's another guy. He comes over, from the Marlins. He got hurt last year, on the disabled list again this year.
2-0 to the number 9 batter.
Your key players need to stay healthy to have a successful year.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Suzuki's throw right there to get him. Good play with Suzuki throwing a strike to Florimone.
There have not been a lot of attempts of stolen bases against the Twins. The first one getting thrown out right there in just 3 attempts. Good throw by Suzuki right on the mark. And all Florimone has to do is catch the ball and put down that tag very quickly.
2-1 to the number 9 batter. Bunt. Foul. 2-2. Twins hope to return to health. They've got Josh Willingham and Oswaldo Arcia on the disabled list. Sanford Health injury report, with the Twins hoping that cortisone shot will do the trick. Talked to Josh Willingham today in the clubhouse, and he says he's really not doing much until his broken bone heals, and then after that he thought it might be just a couple of days. He hopes. 2-2. High fly, right center field. Olabello comes in to end the top of the 5th.
Lottery Winner's Circle with Lori and Dwayne. They're coming from Lakefield to brave the elements and celebrate your birthday. How are you managing the cold today?
Well, it's a warm day in Minnesota, isn't it?
Not for April.
Very good. We're doing good. Dress warm and have fun and hope the sun comes out here to...
Awesome. Yeah, it's starting to peek through here. Happy birthday to you. We're going to give you $100 worth of scratch-offs courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery to help you celebrate a little bit.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have fun scratching them off.
Sounds good.
Happy birthday to you. I spoke to Dorothy yesterday celebrating her 98th birthday here Sunday, but yesterday was her birthday. Dorothy, if you're watching and listening, again, happy birthday yesterday. And if you want to know, Dick, 354 more days until my next birthday.
Didn't care one way or the other, but thanks for the update.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Lakefield, Minnesota, down in the southwestern part of the state. Just a little bit south of Wilder, Heron Lake, Okabena.
Okabena.
A little bit north of Interstate 90. 1-1 to Pedro Florimon. Hit a fly ball to right his first time up. Again, hitting right-handed, even against the right-handed knuckleballer. That floats over 1-2. Twins for the nightcap tonight will have available for their services Eduardo Nunez, whom they acquired from the Yankees a couple of weeks ago. Florimon takes down and away 2-2, and Nunez, one would think, is going to be here to play, get a start somewhere in the infield. And Florimon swings and misses one down. That'll bring up Dozier. You think you know what goes into becoming a Minnesota Vikings cheerleader? Go behind the scenes of the audition process. Get to know the women vying for a spot on the 2014 team with Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders making the team. Part 2 of this 3-part series premieres Friday at 10:30 on Fox Sports North.
You know, the most famous knuckleballers, of course, are the Niekro brothers. Phil Niekro winning 318 Major League games. Joe 221 with that knuckleball. Ted Lyons won 260.
He's in the Hall of Fame, too.
The Hall of Fame, yeah. Charlie Huff, 216.
Hoyt Wilhelm was first a starter and then a Hall of Fame reliever, featuring the knuckleball.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, nobody in our fantasy camp throws a knuckleball. But,
they all throw it. You just can't tell the difference between that and a fastball. Dozier cracks it down the line. What a pickup by Lowry. And the ball not handled at first by Encarnacion, and Dozier will reach. Lowry, just an exceptional third baseman, and he made an exceptional catch.
Boy, he sure did, because that ball came up on him. He was over there to maybe anticipate the ball staying down, but that ball looked like it came up on him on the last second. See him right there. Wow, slides to his right, gets up quickly. And even though it's a little trouble getting that ball out of his glove to throw low, and Dozier will be credited with an infield base hit. Third hit for the Twins, but a great effort by Lowry.
Made that play against the Astros a few days ago. Here's Mauer, a walk and a ground ball to second. Top of this inning, there's a strike called. Top of this inning, we saw the Jays try to steal a runner into scoring position. Tolley was thrown out. And see the Twins try to do that with Dozier here.
Yeah, all right, Dickie, pretty quick as far as, you know, throwing to first base, quick feet. And he gets the ball home pretty quickly.
Missing the inside corner, 1-1.
Coming into the season, base runners against R.A. Dickey, 56 of 85. So, you know.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
In terms of holding runners on. And again, some of that through the tutelage of Charlie Huff, who was pitching for the Rangers when I got started in this business. And I remember Charlie said he worked a lot in between starts on his, not just the pickoff, but, you know, hesitating, working on different drills to discourage the running game. Nothing else to do. And so he he spent a lot of time working from the stretch position.
Yeah, Charlie had a little bit of a higher leg kick than R.A. Dickey. Dickey doesn't really, come up with that knee to his belt. Dickey will just kind of open up very quickly. And yeah, you're right. Charlie Huff had that little hesitation, the Louis Tion type of set, before he threw home.
2-1 to Mauer. Crack to center, solid single. And Dozier will round second and head for third. Here's the throw from Bautista. No chance to get Dozier, who continues to run the bases very well.
I'm just going to say, you know what? One thing we have seen Brian Dozier do, and that's probably why he's scored 14 times already this year, is to go from first to third. Very aggressive base running. You like to see this. Almost no movement of that knuckleball went right into the swing of Joe Mauer. And Dozier, look at him. He doesn't hesitate. He's going to hustle over to third and slide in safely. He won the game the other day when he came in against Kansas City and just kept running after Davis kind of did a little tantrum out on the mound after he threw that ball away.
Blue 0 for 2, but another chance to drive in a run. First and third, one away. Lace to left, and Plouffe comes through. Dozier scores another run. And the game came back to Trevor Plouffe, who I'm sure really was frustrated with that first inning at bat. He jumps on the first pitch and drives in his 10th run of the year.
I think that fastball in the first inning kind of surprised him, and half-heartedly swung at it and hit it back to R.A. Dickey for the double play. Here, just dropping the barrel of the bat, finding that gap between third and short, driving in the first run as Dozier scores again for the Twins.
And now Colabello, and I'm going to step out on the limb, or maybe more appropriately out on very thin ice here. I'm calling a big fly here for Colabello.
I like it.
Ball one. Colabello with a 1-out single in the fourth was called out on strikes on a pitch that didn't look like it was anywhere near the strike zone back in the first. Five singles, 5 walks for the Twins in the game's first run. 2-0.
Colabello's only home run this year, that coming on Friday in Cleveland with a solo home run against right-handed pitcher Danny Salazar.
Fastball missing inside. 3-0 with Kubel on deck.
Yeah, Dickey already with 5 walks in a ball game. A lot of pitches right now at 101 pitches. So some action in the bullpen. Todd Redmond getting up.
Colabello likely green lighted here if he gets a fastball. Took it at the knees. Three and one. I guess given the situation, Colabello could have taken one fastball to time what he hopes for is the second one. And he took that one too. Bello thought it was ball 4. That looked like it had more of the strike zone than the one in the first inning.
That looked like pretty good pitch. You can see right there, upper part of the strike zone, but a strike.
Three and two. Pulled foul between Joe Favre and the line. Twins have had some chances to not only score but break the game open a bit. They had first and second, nobody out in the first. Bases full, 2 outs in the fourth.
Yeah, this is the first inning where they've actually gotten some base hits to score a run. It was the other time was Dickey's control. He had walked some batters to create some situations for the Twins to open up a ball game.
And ball 4. Dickey's wildest pitch of the afternoon, and they're loaded up for Kubel. And the Sun trying to break through here, and the Twins trying to break out. Kubel 0 for 2, a grounder to second, the pop to short. That's what this field needs. I'm not sure it's going to get it, but this field to dry out needs some sunshine on it, and we're getting a little glimpse of it.
Yep, need to see the players' shadows on the field.
Darts over the inside corner. Kubel doesn't agree. Strike one. Driven to right, a base hit. Mauer scores. Plouffe will be held up on an RBI single by Jason Kubel. 5 straight batters have reached here in the 5th.
Kubel picking up his 8th RBI as Plouffe picked up his 10th RBI a couple at-bats ago, and the Twins take a 2-0 lead. Knuckleball that just kind of didn't really dip right there, and Jason hitting it sharply, quickly out to Sierra. So Mauer scores, and Plouffe held up at 3rd.
And now Pinto with the bases loaded. Drew a walk his last time up. High and tight, ball 1.
I'll take one for the team.
3-run batted in. After Florimon struck out, 5 straight batters have reached. 1-0. 2-0.
That's a good take right there. That ball just dipped straight down.
You know, this is a different experience for Pinto. I mean, he's in the big leagues at the start of the year rather than a late season call-up. And he's shown the ability to take some walks. He drew his 6th in his last plate appearance. Check swing. Foul. 2-1. You know, you worry about a youngster coming up and being over anxious and over eager, and you know, 6 walks isn't great, but against the 9 strikeouts, that's encouraging to see.
Yes, it is. See if he can get a big hit right here.
Down and away, and Dickey wanted that one because he was given that one earlier this afternoon.
Watch this knuckleball right here.
Pitcher's pitch, right?
Yeah.
3-1 with the bases full. And a drive to left center field and deep. Headed towards the bullpen. Off the very top of the wall. 2 runs will score. Kubel held at 3rd with Pinto delivering an extra base hit. He just missed a grand slam.
Well, I can guarantee you right there, R.A. Dickey took a chance, okay? I'm behind an account. I have to come in with the pitch. I have to throw a fastball, which he did. It looks like maybe a knuckleball, but what an at-bat by Pinto. Look at this and his strength. That ball hit to the deepest part of the field here, 211 feet to that bullpen fence, and almost out. Twins open up the game, 4-0 lead now. And R.A. Dickey's afternoon is done.
With some words for Chris Guccione as he leaves. A 4-run 5th inning.
Well, he got the count in his favor, and a knuckleball that ran right back into the strong swing of Pinto. Pinto picking up his 6th and 7th RBI on his first double this year to go with his 3 home runs. And Todd Redmond coming out of into the ball game. Redmond making his 5th relief appearance. Only 1 run allowed in 9 2/3 innings, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. Redmond, 28 years old, in his 2nd season with the Blue Jays. Came up with the Cincinnati Reds in 2012.
Infield in. Ball 1. Suzuki with a single and a walk. Up and away, 2-0.
Wouldn't you say that, R.A. Dickey was kind of walking a tightrope for the first 4 innings. He worked out of that first inning jam, but the walks ended up hurting him, to get the pitch count up. And then in the 5th inning, 5 hits so far for the Twins this inning, with the walk kind of mixed in between.
Popped up. It will reach the seats along the right side. 2-1. Gibson again will get some run support, this time in the middle innings. And to his credit, he's got 5 shutout innings, and the lineup finally has produced some runs for him.
Keep putting his zeros up there. Maybe, stay away from the crooked numbers, what he's been able to do so far, and expect your offense to score for you, and they have so far.
More out there to get if Suzuki can get a ball to the outfield here. To center. Tagging is Kubel, and Suzuki driving one hard to center field for a sacrifice fly in the 5th run of the inning.
Well, he did his job right there. Got a pitch up, delivered a sacrifice fly, picked up his 9th RBI of the year, and it's a 5-0 ball game.
So a 5 spot, and that's kind of been the story of this homestand. When the Twins playing well, they put up a lot of crooked numbers in the Kansas City series, and a 5 here. Is there a number more crooked than a 5? It's nice to see the Twins lineup click here in the 5th inning. 9th man to bat is center fielder Aaron Hicks, and he takes strike over the inside corner. It started this inning, scoring wise, with Dozier's 1-out single. 5 hits and a walk in succession. And now a nice pick by Tolle. It's 1-1. One and one to the Twins center fielder. Pop foul and out of play, 1-2. You look at Hicks and you're waiting for it to click for him. It's the average is down about where it was last year. He's having better at bats. I think everyone would agree with that, but the results haven't been there. And then you realize for some players it simply takes a while. All you need to do is look at the Toronto center fielder, Jose Bautista. Or former Twin center fielder Carlos Gomez. Gomez might be the best player in the National League right now. He's one of them, certainly, and it took a while. It took a couple thousand of at-bats for him to finally figure it out at the plate.
Well, you know what? He never gave up on himself, and that's the key, I think. Batista, the same thing. He came up with the Pirates. He was put on waivers, went to 3 different clubs. Nobody kind of wanted him, and he found a home in Toronto.
Ooh, good swing by Hicks. Fouled it straight back. Still 2-2. You can't, as much as you'd like to, you just can't rush the process. And for players, who knows, Pinto may be one of them. When Byron Buxton shows up, he may be one of them, where they come up and they produce right away, and it seems like a very easy transition. But in most of the cases, it just takes some seasoning. Tap to the right side on an off-speed pitch. And the inning comes to a close.
Great inning.
It was a good inning for the Twins. 9 men bat and 5 of them scored. We go to the 6th.
You know what, Dick, as a pitcher, former pitcher, you know, you get runs like this. This is the most important inning right here. You want to go out, hopefully get the Blue Jays out as quick as possible. Team just scored you 5 runs. Good start right there.
Top of the order, Melky Cabrera is 0 for 2, bringing a 14-game hitting streak into this game. The right field, Colabello chasing it. And makes a running catch, one away. Pretty well hit ball for the first out of the 6th. Now on FoxSportsNorth.com, Minnesota Twins All-Star Game ambassadors are named. Joe Mauer, Bert Blyleven, Tony Oliva, Rod Carew, Paul Molitor. An exclusive Q&A with Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor. And the Wild entering the playoffs with a different feeling than last year. In one of their playoff series coming up tonight. One down, here's Kawasaki 0 for 2. Strike one.
Now, see, as an ambassador, I would think I would get my own limo. I said that in the press conference today with a couple flags on the hood, you know, maybe the Dutch flags.
Bounced to short. Florimon has it go right under his glove. And Kawasaki will round first. Earlier we saw Plouffe look like he turned away from the ball trying to turn a double play. And that time it looked like Florimon might have looked up.
Well, you don't see this too often. First error of the year for Florimon. Sure-handed at short. That ball just never came up. You can see he expected that hop to come up a little bit. He was surprised as anybody that it got underneath his glove.
Now Bautista will hit one man aboard.
In the second inning, you know, remember Gibson, next hitter, got the double play ball off the bat of Sierra. You want to pick up your defense.
You don't want to see this guy up with a man on base. First pitch moves him off the plate.
That's a good pitch in the scouting report, the Mall of America scouting report. Up and in, he's not really, that's not going to do anything. Make him move his feet a little bit. That's a good sinking fastball down and in.
And again, he buckles backward. 2-0.
Now it's important to hit the outer half of the plate. He did a good job in the 4th inning when Bautista hit the ball up the middle sharply, but right at Dozier, who was playing right up the middle.
Popped up right field.
Good pitch.
Bautista flings his bat away, and Colabello with the catch out number 2.
Good pitch because he's looking in. He wants to hit that 2-run home run, and instead of a fly ball to right.
Nonprofit organizations, listen up. You can raise funds for your charity by attending a Twins game Learn how to use group tickets to a game at Target Field to raise money for your favorite cause. Check out twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS. Ask about a Twins Target Field group outing. Edwin Encarnacion will hit with a runner at first and 2 down. 75 pitches for Gibson. On the cusp, perhaps, of wrapping up the 6th inning. Ball 1 low.
Most pitches he has needed, and that was in the first inning when he threw 19. Gibson making just his 13th major league start.
2-0. Long ways to go, but if in fact he goes 3-0 for the Twins to start this season. There's a strike.
Good fastball there, outer half of the plate.
How encouraging would that be if the Twins continue to pitch better? And Phil Hughes had it going for a while, lost it all in the 6th. But let's remember that the good string of pitching started with a Gibson starting Cleveland. Popped up back and headed back our way. Foul. But beyond that, I mean, this has been a cold winter and it's been a bad spring and all that. But boy, if this guy can prove that he can pitch in cold weather, and the warmest he's pitched has been 42 degrees, kind of a nice thing to count on here in Minnesota, to have a guy around who can pitch pretty well in April.
He's got a nice pace going. He's attacking the strike zone.
Breaking ball got him. Pitches around an error and has a good 6th. Another scoreless inning for Kyle Gibson. By Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Pedro Florimon fouls the first pitch back, leading off the 6th inning. Florimon, Dozier, and Mauer. Twins again calling up Eduardo Nunez, as teams can do now when a day-night doubleheader has been scheduled. There's a bit of a twist in the rules, though. Nunez is here, but he is not available for play. For that matter, Anthony Goes isn't either for Toronto for the first game of the doubleheader. It used to be you could use him in either game or both games if you wanted to. Fumbled at second and safe at first. Kawasaki commits an error, and Florimon reaches. Hit right at him.
Yep, Florimon, hitting it sharply. Kawasaki can see ball just gets behind him, and then Florimon's speed beats it out. Kawasaki just getting called up, makes his first error of the year for the Blue Jays, their 6th of the year.
Dozier started the 5-run 5th with a single. Strike down the middle. The reason the rule was changed regarding the 26th man, teams sometimes found themselves at a disadvantage. For instance, the example I was told, if Oakland's playing in New York and this situation happens where there's a rainout and you have a day-night doubleheader the next day, Dozier takes another fastball for a strike. The A's might have a difficult time getting a player all the way across the country in time for the first game. But the presumption is teams would have no problem getting a player there for the second game. So it was perceived as a disadvantage to the visiting team in some instances. So they say, okay, for the second game of a day-night doubleheader, then and only then can the 26th player be used. 1-2. Wider, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Redmond dropping down there with that breaking ball. And Tolley doing a good job of catching that ball out of the strike zone.
5 runs all charged to Dickey in 4 1/3 innings. Swing and a miss, and Dozier's gone on strikes, 1 down. Throughout the at-bat, Florimon never budged from first base. We'll see whether he moves in the Mauer at-bat.
High fastball right here. And Dozier just swinging through it.
Mauer singled to center. Dozier scampered from first to third, and that helped open the door for the 5-run inning. On the outside corner. Boy, teams repeatedly are doing that, aren't they, to Joe? They're going down and away to get a called first strike. And sometimes they're on the corner, sometimes they might be a little bit off. At least that's Joe's contention. But that every at bat, it seems, starts with that pitch down and away.
Well, why wouldn't you? Because 9 out of 10 times Joe's going to take that first pitch. So you want to start basically down and away. The breaking ball working around the plate for strike 2. But still, Joe, one of the best 2-strike hitters. Now, he has struggled a little bit so far this year, but folks, it's early. This is for the Twins, their 14th game? This guy can flat out hit.
Target again, down and away. 1-2. Twins fans aren't accustomed to seeing Joe strike out as much as he has, 17 times already this year.
He's almost human.
And taking down and away. 2-2.
Florimon at first base, 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts.
And there he goes. And the pitch lifted foul. The defense for not running in this situation is, well, you'll keep the hole open on the right side of the infield for the left-handed batter, but in reality, Joe's more apt to hit the ball up the middle or to the opposite field anyway.
That's why I'm surprised that Goins, the shortstop, was covering second base there.
2-2 to the Twins' first baseman. Florimon stays put, and it's 3-2 with Plouffe on deck.
They tried that backdoor breaking ball again. Redmond did and missed this time. Got it over for strike 2. Now you send Florimon. 1 out. Joe can hit a gapper.
There he goes. Foul back, got a pitch up, and he tried to spin on it.
Almost hit his second home run. He made contact with that. High fastball, just getting underneath it. As usual, Joe usually sees a lot of pitches throughout a ball game.
Drew a walk in the first, bounced to second in the third, and then singled and scored in the fifth. Floremont goes, and a foul tip. He's trying to take advantage of the second Toronto error of the game.
Yeah, R.A. Dickey had one in the first inning on a throw to Encarnacion, trying to pick off Dozier.
Another 3-2 to Mauer with Floremont going, and the pitch fouled away.
Floremont getting some sprints in. Oh, he's go to spring training. You watch, hitters go through their routine on a daily basis, and then usually, after everybody's done, then the last thing, go down to the left field line, right field line, whatever, run sprints. That's what Floremont's doing right now.
Doesn't feel like spring training, though.
No, it does not.
3-2. Floremont goes, and another foul at the plate. One other footnote regarding Nunez being here. He does not necessarily have to be the player sent back after the game today. Floremont does have an option left, and the Twins have the option, at least, of sending another player back and keeping Nunez. And if they decided to keep Nunez, Floremont would likely be the guy they would send out. And it might be that Floremont would just need some time and some more at bats, remembering that he missed a good chunk of spring training with the appendicitis. Down the line, foul by about, oh, fair! They're saying it hit Encarnacion's glove, and Floremont will be held at third. The ball landed clearly foul, and now John Gibbons is going to come out, and Pat Hoberg said that it deflected off of Encarnacion's glove.
Yeah, even though that ball landed foul, and I think everybody's watching the flight of the ball, Hoberg saying that Encarnacion, who was holding on, Floremont got off the bag, and then when he leaped up to try to get it, did he tip it?
It looked like it did change direction on that angle.
Well, you saw Encarnacion go up.
Let's see if we can tell from this angle here.
Boy, that's, you almost need a very slow motion. This might give us a good angle right here. Ball definitely hooking. Boy.
I think it would have ended foul if it hadn't been touched, if it was touched. Well, Encarnacion, the way he reacted, I think he knows that he touched it. Because he could see as clear as anyone that the ball landed in foul territory. And now the delay here in part, I suspect, because John Gibbons wants to know whether he's going to challenge it or not. And he's been given the cue, starting with our friend Sal Butera, that, boy, it's inconclusive. Whether he touched it or not, it has to be clear and convincing that he did not after the original ruling was made, and that's why I think there will be no appeal here.
Now, we are just informed that it's Eric Cooper who was at first base.
Cooper had the plate 2 nights ago.
Right.
So Mauer will get a hit. Floremont to third, and Plouffe will come up. He drove in the game's first run. So we had a delay. but no appeal and no review of the play, because on all our replays and presumably the ones in the Toronto clubhouse, Sal Butera didn't see clear and convincing evidence worthy of the Blue Jays using their appeal. 1 strike to Plouffe.
Well, Plouffe got the Twins on the board in the 5-run 5th inning with the RBI single off of R.A. Dickey.
Off-speed pitch hits the corner. You know what? We talk about guy has a great at bat. If it's Brian Dozier, hey, has a great at bat. We tend to take it for granted by Mauer, but he fouled off some 2-strike pitches as he did during his first inning walk. He's had some really good at bats strung together here today. And now 2 strikes to Plouffe. Takes up high, 1-2. Eight hits for the Twins. Fouling out to play everybody but Hicks and Florimone with at least 1. And Mauer with 2.
Yeah, Redmond left that breaking ball up and Plouffe fouled it off. Redmond with a strikeout. He struck out Dozier on that high fastball for the first out. Guy that started 14 games for the Blue Jays last year now is a long man out of the bullpen.
Foul tip on a pitch up.
They tried to go back with that high fastball. It's almost the same pitch that Dozier swung through. This curveball is kind of a sweeping breaking ball. He doesn't get on top of it. It's more of a 3/4 type breaking ball.
Like the Twins, the White Sox and Angels, the only teams to have scored more than the Twins per game. They have some pitching issues too. 1-2. To left, stroke deep. Cabrera going back, makes a catch, tagging from third and scoring is Florimone. Good at bat by Plouffe. He drives in his 2nd run of the game, 11th of the year.
He did not miss that breaking ball. About 3 pitches ago, he fouled off that high breaking ball. This one kind of a hanger. So Plouffe getting a pitch that he could drive to the outfield. The Twins take advantage of the error by the Jays.
Join the Fox Sports North girls at the Fox Sports North HD viewing party Wednesday, April 23rd, starting at 5:30 at Dracula's Bowl in Invergrove Heights. Watch Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Enjoy food and drink. Be on TV. Meet the Fox Sports North girls. Visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on the More tab for details. Here's Colabello taking ball 1. 6 batters in a row reached in the 5th inning, and Colabello's walk, a big plate appearance in the middle of that big inning.
Well, it's important, and I mentioned the top of the inning. Gibson got out of it quickly. Get those guys back on the bench. Let them swing the bat. Even though the error kind of opened up this inning so far for the Twins to make it a 6-0 game. Good job by Gibson getting his offense back in the bench ready to go.
And a long bottom of the 5th to sit through. The Twins hoping to let him sit in that warm dugout for a while here too. Here's a blast to right center field, slicing away from Bautista. He won't get it. One hops the wall. Mauer around third. He'll score on another RBI double from Chris Colabello.
We kind of highlighted Chris Colabello in the pregame and also in our open about how he's tied in the American League with RBIs, but another good example of how he's able to get good wood when he makes contact. You know, in yesterday's ball game, he hit that ball high off the wall, middle in, and quick hands, so he's still able to get the barrel of the bat on that and create that type of power the other way.
You know, in his 5th inning plate appearance, I think it was a 3-1 pitch. It was a fastball up and away. And for a guy who's got such great power to the opposite field, you'd say, well, why didn't he swing at that? That's not where he wants it. He wants it up and in, and he has the ability as you just saw, to get those hands in and drive it. Mastroianni running. He'll take over in right field as well. But a pitch up and in, and to drive it to the fence in the deepest part of the park.
Yeah, it's not saying that he cannot drive that ball that's away, but you know, the way that he opens up and then able to have the strength to hit the ball the other way.
Foul tip.
You know, you see other hitters do that. They'll try to inside the ball, and it'll be a fly ball to right or center. But Colabello has that power that he just at that last second utilizes the strength that he has to drive that ball to the warning track.
Best example of that over the last nearly 20 years, Derek Jeter, who had the inhuman ability to do what he's done for so long. Take a pitch inside. There's a called third strike.
Vladimir Guerrero could do that.
Yeah, that's right. Another good example. And another good inning for the Twins with 2 more on the board.
Six straight zeros on the board. Good defense behind him. Double play turn. Third double play of this young start or career for Kyle Gibson. Twins in the 5th inning opened up the floodgates by scoring 5 runs. Taking a 5-0 lead. Then they just scored a couple insurance runs. A couple unearned runs.
Colby Rasmus takes strike 1 to start the 7th inning. Gibson out there with 81 pitches thrown. Swing and a miss. Rasmus with 2 singles. You know, you look at the season numbers for Gibson, and they're very, very impressive, but they could be even more impressive. He's given up 2 runs this year. 1 on a ground ball that should have been turned into an inning-ending double play in his start against the Royals here on Friday. The other run scored by the Indians, and it was aided by a ruled wild pitch that could very easily have been ruled a passed ball, which would have made that an unearned run. So here we are deep into his 3rd start of the year, and he could very easily have an ERA of 0.00.
Getting Rasmus, who you mentioned got 2 straight hits off of him, taking a called third strike. Strikeout number 3 for Gibson. Yeah, we had a chance to talk to him here on Monday, and you know, I mentioned about the walks, 8 walks in 11 and a third innings coming in, and he said that's one thing I want to, you know, work on a little bit. So far here this afternoon, only 1 walk in 6 and a third innings so far.
1 down. Lowry, the batter. Up and away, 2-0.
Gibson, who made 10 starts last year, his longest outing last year was 6 and a third innings. 6 innings. He's got a 6 1/3 this year. So trying to complete 7 here.
Mastroianni taking over in right. Laurie 0 for 2. And right on the outside corner. Breaking ball, strike 3. Back-to-back called third strikes. An impressive start to the 7th inning for Kyle Gibson. Fans, you can follow every Twins game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, score stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit twinsbaseball.com. 2 down, and here is Sierra. Off the plate, ball 1.
I asked the truck to go back to that not the last fastball, the breaking ball that struck him out, but this fastball right here. Remember earlier in the ball game, he didn't seem to get that call. Now that ball had a little bit more of the plate, but they didn't give up on it. And I credit Suzuki probably between innings, especially after the first inning, maybe sitting down with Kyle and say, hey, we're not going to give up on that pitch. You keep hitting that spot, you're going to get the call. And Gibson has been getting the call now, as Suzuki, I think, is doing a great job of handling it.
Fly ball, left field. Kubel coming in. A little bit of a finishing kick here for Kyle Gibson. If in fact he is finished now.
No, he's not. Stop it.
Quite a bit about things that he was doing, and he kind of approached me and said, "Have fun next year," and he was saying that it was a pretty busy couple days, but I saw him at the end of it, and he was a little tired, a little wore out, but he said he would do it 100 times. He said it was a very special thing. It was a big honor to be asked to do that, and I'm looking forward to it too.
The announcement made that Joe will be an ambassador for the All-Star game, and Joe on a daily basis here gets pulled in a lot of different directions because he's from here. He's an All-Star player, might be a Hall of Fame player, and you can imagine how busy baseball will keep him during the All-Star break. Now they're keeping you busy. Here's a foul back, and Tolley back for a look. Makes the catch, and Pinto's retired.
We might go through a month here without a couple foul balls being caught by the catcher, because there's not a lot of room back here. This is the second time in this series that a ball's been caught back there. But you're right. I mean, Joe, hey, he should be the ambassador, the main ambassador for the All-Star game.
He might get the limo.
As David was right. He better not.
He better get the limo with the flags on.
I'm going to protest. He better not.
Well, what other perks do you think you are owed for being an ambassador?
Yeah, there should be some perks.
Well, they'll get you into the game for free, but I think that's already taken care of, right? You're in, right?
Yes.
What about I think a free beverage during the game or something like that?
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Well,
That'll be on me.
I can't imagine what else they could do.
The limo, I'm telling you. I'd like a driver.
Where are you going to go? You live 3 blocks from here. You can walk back and forth.
I don't care. Just to have them drop me off in front. I'll get out, with my family.
Oh, and then like the red carpet thing, too, I suppose.
Yeah.
Fly ball to right, 2 down. That'll bring up Hicks. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Thank you to Alyssa.
Hey, a kid born in Holland, how many times you get a chance to be an ambassador?
And you should be thrilled to have the honor. I don't know why you need a limo and things like that.
Because I'm begging, that's all.
Here's Hicks looking for his first hit, and he skies one to short right center field. Sierra comes in, and it's a quick bottom of the 7th as the Twins go down 1-2-3. To pitch the 8th inning.
I like that. 92 pitches, 55 strikes so far, 7 shutout innings.
Tolley, Goins, and Cabrera.
4 strikeouts, but 3 out of the last 4 batters he's faced.
First pitch strike. Pitch tracks presented by Carrier.
Here on Saturday against the Kansas City Royals, Ricky Nolasco able to go 8 innings, only gave up 1 run. Got the win in that 7-1 win.
Tolley has to shuffle his feet. 1-1. It's one thing for the Twins to give Gibson I agree with you, give him the benefit of the doubt. But now it's up to Gibson to reward the decision to get him out there. Here's a ball under the glove of Dozier. And it's a base hit to start the 8th inning.
And Tolley gets his 2nd hit. Only 4 hits, and 2 have been by Rasmus, and now 2 by Tolley. That's been it.
And they've all been singles. Here's Goins. But Gibson hasn't given up a hit since Tolley's single in the 5th inning. So there's no reason to take him out.
Right.
Yet, if you're a manager or a pitching coach, you've seen what's happened to Mike Pelfrey. You saw it happen the other night to Phil Hughes. somewhere in the back of your mind.
That was in the 5th inning.
No, I know, but Kevin Correa the other day, the Twins get the big home run from Pinto. They take 2-0 lead. Correa goes out in the 8th and it's gone.
Yeah. Well, that's going to happen. You hope that Gibson, and these are the areas that, he hasn't really had an inning in duress. 19 pitches are the most he needed. He's had 4 innings where he's used only 12 pitches.
Yeah, he gets a ground ball to Florimon. Nice flip to Dozier. Double play. That was fun to watch. Florimon with an awkward flip to Dozier, and then Dozier submarined his throw to first.
Well, we saw this so many times last year. This tandem right here defensively. Little flip. They have worked so well together. A lot of practice together, and watch this little backhanded flip over to Dozier. And that ball just kind of down and away. But watch Dozier right there. Even though it's low, he throws from underneath to get the double play. Second double play turn for Gibson.
That I would think has to be the toughest play for a second baseman, because Dozier's back is facing the runner. He has no idea where he is. 1 strike and now a ball. I mean, when Ron Gardenhire and Dozier himself talked about the difficulty going from short to second, that has to be number 1 on every second baseman's list. Inside 2-1 in terms of the challenge that you face as a second baseman you don't face as a shortstop.
That was a thing of beauty right there.
2-1 to Cabrera, trying to keep his hitting streak alive. And now 3-1. Kawasaki on deck.
Only 1 walk for Gibson, and that came in the 1st inning to Batista. Boy, there's the 12 I was talking about. 4 12 pitch innings, a 9 in the 3rd, and 10 so far here.
Strike call, 3-2.
Make him swing the bat right here. That's all you're thinking. A 14-game hitting streak for Cabrera.
Breaking ball, a tapper foul. Cabrera.
So what you have is a pitcher right here. Coming in, who's swinging a good bat. Now Cabrera, he's got a 14-game hitting streak. Doesn't want to walk right here. He's going to swing the bat. So just make it a good pitch down, and he'll get himself out. Cabrera knows he's not good. This is his last at bat. Just get it close. He's going to swing.
Taps it to Dozier.
There you go.
How about this? 8 shutout innings for Kyle Gibson.
Can he go 1 more? Time will tell.
Nothing going into the bottom of the 8th. I'm Jamie Hirsch with a reminder to stay with us for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. After the final out, we will break down Kyle Gibson's incredible start. He does it again, 8 shutout innings. We'll also talk about the big 5th inning to power the Twins past Toronto so far. We'll get Gardy's reaction to it all, and we'll preview Game 2 of this doubleheader, guys.
All right, thank you, Jamie. With Pedro Florimon leading off the bottom of the 8th, taking ball 1.
Yeah, and in between innings, everybody congratulating Kyle Gibson. 105 pitches, so he will not come out for the 9th. But what a job. 8 shutout innings. Great job by Kyle Gibson. You're told by your manager, your pitching coach.
If you get a hug from your pitching coach and then he sends you out there for the next inning, then you got to be suspicious, right?
You got maybe Kevin Slowey back.
Slowey moved back into the rotation for the Marlins. Anthony Swarzak just starting to get loose out in the bullpen. 3-1 to Florimon, and he drives one to right center field. Sierra back. That ball is off the base of the wall, and Florimon has a double. Florimon now has reached a couple of times. Started a really nifty double play in the top of the 8th inning.
Oh, Florimon, good quick bat right there. The ball down with that uppercut swing. Hits it over the head of Sierra.
That's Bautista now in right field. Here's a Dozier fouling a pitch back. Dozier 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts, single, a run scored. Foul back, 2 strikes. Juan Diaz has taken over in center field for the Blue Jays, and Bautista's over in right.
So Sierra out of the ball. Oh, it's Sierra to left field, excuse me, and then Cabrera's out of the ball game. See, he ends a hitless streak, or a hitting streak is gone, so he comes out.
Dozier takes outside, 1-2. Before we move too far along, and for some of you are wondering about Kyle Gibson and his rookie status, he spent that last year. The threshold for rookie pitchers is 50 innings, and Gibson pitched 51 innings last year. So while the American League Rookie of the Year might very well be a pitcher, it won't be Kyle Gibson. It might be Tanaka. It might be Ventura of Kansas City, but it won't be Kyle Gibson. 2-2. And now 3-2. Bauer on deck.
Well, Todd Redmond eating up some innings out of that bullpen. He relieved R.A. Dickey in the 5th inning.
Lifted down the left field line, and that'll be a long run. No, it won't. Shortstop Goins makes the catch. 1 away. Quite an afternoon for Kyle Gibson.
Well, you know what? I mean, he got a couple ground ball outs, and they gave up 3 singles. Did not give up on that fastball down. Got good movement all around. Defense picked him up, and he picked up the defense when they made a couple errors behind him. So all-out great effort by the Twins. Young rookie pitcher. Even though he's not a rookie, this is basically a year that hopefully Gibson will be very successful. Got a chance to go 3-0.
Particularly in the 2nd inning when Rasmus started with a single. Lowry hit a ball to the backhand side of Plouffe. 1st and 2nd, nobody out in the 2nd in a scoreless game at the time. Remember, the Twins didn't get their first run until the 5th inning, and Gibson got Sierra to bounce into a double play. Tolley to hit a harmless fly to left. That was some pretty good pitching right there.
Well, you know, and Plouffe made the nice play because Sierra hit that ball sharply, but Plouffe, you know, even though he just committed an error, made the nice turn of that double play to Dozier.
1 strike to Mauer, and now outside 1-1. It's been a good day at the plate for Joe, one of his better days at the plate. Good at bats throughout. A walk and 2 singles, 2 runs scored. Don't know what the lineup will look like tonight, but be one of those rare opportunities, I suspect, where Mauer will have the same position in the second game of a doubleheader that he had in the first. As a catcher, at best, he would have been a designated hitter in either the first or second game, but we would anticipate Mauer will get first base duty again tonight. 2-1. Bounce to second. Kawasaki throws to first, and Florimon to third base, 2 down. And that'll bring up Plouffe.
Well, in the 5th inning was Trevor Plouffe's RBI single that scored Dozier to give the Twins a 1-0 lead. And then a couple innings ago, a sacrifice fly picking up his second RBI. So 11 on the year for Trevor Plouffe.
Way out in front of an off-speed pitch. Strike one, Century Link to what's next. It'll be right-hander Dustin McGowan going for the Jays tonight at 6 o'clock. And Mike Pelfrey going for the Twins.
It's a big start for Mike Pelfrey. I mean, every start's big, but, you know, Pelfrey has struggled as of late. He's given up 4 home runs in his first 2 starts, where he only gave up 13 all of last year. So needs to keep the ball in the ballpark to a home run hitting team.
And again, tonight's game is on Fox Sports North Plus, with the Wild playing their playoff hockey game tonight. The second game will be on the Plus channel. Outside. You know, it's just a game, but Ron Gardenhire's talked about the improvement of Plouffe, and one of the things he singles out that Plouffe might have a bad at bat, but then he's got a little more experience, a little more toughness maybe to not let that at bat affect the rest of his game. Now just think how the first couple innings went for Plouffe. First and second, nobody out. He gets a fastball down the middle from a knuckleball pitcher, and he bounces back to the mound to double play, and the rally is killed, then the air. But he kept after it. He started a nice double play later in that inning. He's had a couple of good at bats here with the first RBI of the ball game. Now he takes a fastball right down the middle, and that ends the 8th inning. All around a good day for the Twins, and Anthony Swarzak will try to finish it off. That's such serious, dramatic music. We got a 7-0 ball game.
Yeah, this is serious stuff.
No, but this is a laugher so far.
Yeah. You know the game. Anthony Swarzak making his 7th relief appearance. He worked here on Tuesday night against the Blue Jays in the 9-3 loss. An inning and 2/3 of shutout baseball through 18 pitches, 10 for strikes. Like to, first of all, last year we had one complete game, that by Elmers.
Right.
And we had 2 pitchers pitch 8 innings. Well, actually 3. I mean, it was Elbers, then he had an 8-inning outing, and then it was Kevin Correa had another 8-inning performance.
Right.
Already with Nolasco and Gibson, exactly what the Twins wanted, starters to go deeper in the ball games. And hopefully everybody's okay off that line drive, slice foul.
So what's your point?
That it looks good. It looks good going into the summer.
Yes, it does.
We got 2 starters already went 8 innings.
2 strikes to Kawasaki. Called 3rd strike, and Kawasaki's called out for the 2nd time today. Back to carsoup.com trivia question.
Mr. Kubel.
Finished it off with a flourish, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Hit for the cycle.
Double.
That against the Angels.
Single. Into the corner. Triple. And
those are always fun to watch.
And then with the bases loaded, boom. And that's one of the reasons Jason was interested in coming back to Minnesota as a free agent. He had a very frustrating last year, had a good first year with Arizona, but he has a lot of great memories about this city, the fans here. His brother-in-law figures to be a prominent player out of the bullpen, Michael Tonkin. 1-1 to Bautista. There's no way there's a strike called. Bautista turns away. There was no way the Twins could have played a game here last night. It's not the most ideal weather here today, but they're going to try to get 2 games in. Last night, with the precipitation falling in whatever form, they wouldn't have gotten it in. So now, managers do this. They tend to segment the season. So Ron Gardenhire, there's a called 3rd strike to Bautista. Now that had plenty of the plate.
Yeah.
If he's arguing at all, it's about strike 2, and his argument should be with Eric Cooper, not Chris Guccione.
We saw it right off the get-go. Bautista, I believe, in the first inning, Gibson threw him a pretty good pitch, but now that it's 7-0, the strike zone maybe opened up a little bit, but Swarzak coming in, attacking the strike zone as Gibson did, picks up his 2nd strikeout in a row.
Encarnacion, last hope for the Jays. Swing and a miss. But now Ron Gardenhire has a 5-game segment before an off day Monday in St. Petersburg. And so what you'd like is your starting pitcher, because it is a little bit of a stress on your bullpen. You got 2 games and then 3 games in Kansas City. You want your starter to give you some innings, and I think Kyle Gibson did that today.
Yes, he did.
1-1.
Yes, he did.
The bullpen, other than Swarzak, who could probably come back and pitch tonight if need be, but the rest of the bullpen is all set for the nightcap. And you hope you don't need it, but at least you have it. It's better than the starter going 3 2/3 innings today. That one hit a long way to left field, but Kubel retreats and ends a combined shutout. A perfect way to start a split doubleheader. A combined shutout with Kyle Gibson going 3-0 in this young season.
Yes.
Jamie, exultation celebration up here in the booth. So
yes.
Let's send it over to the desk.
Exultation at Target Field everywhere as Twins fans leave happy. The first half of the doubleheader in the books and a 7-0 win. We'll break it down next on Twins Live. Talk Kyle Gibson's big day and that big 5th inning for Minnesota as well. We'll check in with manager Ron Gardenhire and more next on Twins Live.